This is Paranormal Prison. We've teamed up with Loudwire to bring you the top 10 countdown of rock stars confessing their paranormal experiences. All of it here on camera. Coming in number 10 is from episode 1 of this season with Machine Head frontman guitarist Robb Flynn.
I have had a couple of weird experiences. Like me and my friends were playing with a Ouija board one time, and we had like some like guitar picks on there, and the guitar pick fucking went up. You know, I've had like moments where like I knew somebody had died and I felt like shit kind of brushed down the back of my neck, and for no reason, like just super randomly, and then found out later that someone had died in the house or something like that. So I definitely believe that there's something out there.
Absolutely.
It's appropriate that he's landing at the number 9 spot, as Jay Weinberg was still drumming for Slipknot when we captured this very clip.
Yeah, I think if you're not believing in some other, you know, whatever it is that you believe in, it's something else that we're not seeing, but we're feeling, and it you know, whatever, if that's a spirit realm, if that's ghosts or whatever. I like to believe that there are things, and I think when you're open to that, you start seeing maybe the presence for good or for bad in your life. So yeah, I think I like being in tune with that. If nothing else, it makes life more interesting, and see where all that energy is kind of coming from, maybe affecting things around you.
Sonny and Marcos from the band P.O.D. join us in the number 8 spot to confess seeing both angels and demons.
I think there's some validity, I guess is the word, because some people call them angels, some people call them demons. Angels, demons, some people call it negative energy, positive energy, ghosts. There's obviously something out there. I mean,
I don't believe in ghosts personally, but I do believe in demons. I believe that there are angels and I believe there are demons, but ghosts, I don't
which
believe.
are ghosts?
No.
They can be.
No. They're not.
Well, they're spirits, right? So, I don't know.
No, demons are demons.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with demons.
Our number 7 spot belongs to Volbeat frontman Michael Poulsen, who claims he's seen spirits since his childhood.
I've always been a believer of the spiritual world, and the reason for that is because I had so many experiences with ghosts and spirits and things that I can't explain since I was a very young kid. And because it happens when I was very young and all the way up to now, it has become something that was so natural that I, as a youngster that's still trying to figure out life, I just thought that it was part of life until I would start talking about it to my friends, and they looked at me as a freak. I talked to my closest friends, but I scared the living crap out of me. That was even back in the days in school. There was I had girlfriends who broke up with me because they experienced stuff too when they were visiting me at my home. And it became a thing where I was just accepting that it was part of me. So there's been moments where it's very tough to talk about. I've been seeing certain people I just thought were part of apartments or buildings, until I discovered that I've seen friends, dead parents and stuff like that. So it's something that's very fragile, and it's very emotional to go through those kind of things when you talk about it. But I'm very open to stuff like that because in such a young age, it's been part of me.
Our number 6 confession belongs to Shinedown's Zach Myers, who shared this confession on camera.
I'm a movie buff, and I love movies, but I also love history. But it's the Shawshank Prison, man. Come on, it's like in one of my it's one of those like Goodfellas, My Cousin Vinny. You don't turn it off when it's on.
When it's on.
Doesn't matter what part you come in on, you just leave it on. That's the movie for the night or the day or midnight, whatever. So yeah, we're excited about it. It's obviously fun for us. Yeah.
We learned recently both Tango and Cash was filmed here, which I did not know, and Air Force One.
I learned Tango and Cash on the tour last time because I had a new watch that I had just got on, and the guy who gave us the tour, we did like a 1 a.m. tour, so everything's shut down. The guy who goes to the store goes, when they were filming that, Sylvester Stallone had this like crazy expensive, like $80,000 watch, and his watch stopped working when we shot the scene in this tower. And I had just bought this, like, one of my first like fancy watches that I'd ever gotten. And I was like, I go, hey, what? I think his name was like Greg or something. Like, hey, Greg, if my watch stops working, I'm like, I'm not Sylvester Stallone. I'm not just gonna buy another one. And sure enough, we get back to the bus and my watch stopped. I had to send it back overseas to get fixed.
That's crazy.
True story.
We're now into the top 5, and Lizzie Hale doesn't disappoint when she confesses this to Jose Mangan.
Remember playing the Rave back in the day?
Oh yeah, in Milwaukee.
So what we would do, we were like the first of 4 bands, and so like we were open up to Cedar, and while they were playing on stage, we're like up in the rafters, like exploring the things. Took all these pictures, and then like we got them developed. There's all these crazy like orb phase and things like in the room that we didn't know were there. It was, so yeah, we definitely believe in that stuff, and also I think that's like part of metal and part of rock and roll too, is that like we travel, and a lot of what we discovered is that what we thought was impossible or inconceivable actually is. So it's like, it's very cool.
Charlie Benante recently celebrated 40 years of Anthrax, and he joins us here with a harrowing tale at number 4.
I've had 3 different times when I've had a situation happen. One time we were on tour in Scotland, and we were staying in Glasgow. We had a night off, and we were staying at this old hotel, and we were all going to meet up to go out to dinner. And before that, I went downstairs and had a drink, and there was a room adjacent to where the bar was at the hotel, and I just sat in this room. It was like a whiskey room, they called it, and I sat in there with my drink, and I was just reading, and the doorway was about 6 feet from where I was sitting, and I looked up and I saw this black shadowy thing go across the doorway really slow. And I was like, oh my God, there's nobody in here that saw that but me. And it freaked me the hell out. I went next door to the bar and asked the bartender about it. He didn't say anything, didn't give me any insight or anything. The next night we were there again after the show. We were having a drink, and the waiter who was taking care of us, I told him what had happened. He's like, oh yeah, we've had that a lot. A lot of the hotel, personnel and guests have seen this black shadowy thing moving across. And I was like, thank you. So that was one time. We were just in Italy, in Bologna. We were staying at this hotel, and myself and our tour manager, Meg, we were having breakfast downstairs. They finished breakfast, they all left, and we were just sitting there finishing up coffee, and the door just swung open, and we were like, what the fuck?
Next up at number 3 is Charlie's bandmate in Pantera, Philip H. Anselmo. He's far beyond driven to tell us everything.
The residue of depression and desperation, I mean, I guess it does hang thick in the air, certain places worse than others, as you showed me down the way with solitary confinement. Depressing, yes. Haunted by depression, and then who knows?
One of the coolest clips from season 2 brings us to the number 2 spot when Jason Bittner of Shadows Fall shared us photographic proof of the paranormal.
Yeah, I do. And I have proof of it as well. Yes. We teamed up with Lamb of God and we played Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which, if you know anything about Waverly Hills, it was the biggest housing of tuberculosis patients in the 30s and 40s. Thousands of people died there. The whole day there was a tour of the facility going on, and for some reason we never got a chance to get down there. By the time we went down, it was me, our tour manager, who's still outside with us today, our guitar tech at the time, and my drum tech at the time. And the 4 of us went, and they said, you guys can't go in, there's no more tours, the building's locked for the night. But you're more than welcome to walk around, take pictures, video, whatever you want to do. Just walk the grounds. So I'm just aimlessly taking photos. So we walked around for maybe 45 minutes, went back to the bus, I put my laptop on, I dumped the card into the thing, and I started going through the pictures. And up in the windows of the place, when there was supposed to be nobody there, When I zoomed in on this picture, there's a black figure with its arms crossed and glowing eyes. It's malevolent. It's malevolent.
But it's making eye contact directly with
Yeah.
you.
Well, this conjugal visit sadly must come to an end, but first, we proudly present our #1 confession of Paranormal Prison, Dave Mustaine of Megadeth, with a special story about Al Capone's ghost.
We were doing the Cryptic Writing Records, and we were in Franklin, Tennessee, and we had rented a place called The Castle. And The Castle is a famous little studio for overdubbing in Franklin. It's actually Leaper's Fork. And it belonged to Al Capone. And Al had 2 tunnels that ran out under the house to the river so he could escape when the cops came, because they played cards there during the Prohibition years, and anybody cheated on old Al, he'd bury them out in the unmarked graves out back. I was there writing a song. I had mental block. I couldn't really progress. It was a song called Secret Place. And I ended up writing the song while I was there because we were singing the lyric to it. And like I said, I had completely stopped. The thought process was blocked. And I hear walking across the ceiling some footsteps. Now that didn't mean anything except for the fact that I was the only one in the live room, and there were only 2 other people in the entire building, and that was in the control room. So who was walking across the ceiling? And it was digital microphones and recording technology, so that was all brand new, and the hearing, the sound, the recording was so incredible. It sounded like normal footsteps. It very easily could have been just an apparition walking across there, but it sounded real. It was very convincing. Something was walking up there. I know that for a fact.
Thank you for joining us here on Loudwire, and we'll be back next week with the reunited Chimera.